YouTube, Rob Lawler with Lawler Artistry. Today we're going to start a new project. We're going to try to attempt feather Damascus. I've never done it. I've done other patterns, but I have not done feather, and it's my favorite looking pattern, so I want to do it. It'll probably be actually my knife. I don't have my own pieces. I make them and sell them. So if you're going to do it big, right? I've got our steps up here on the board. I'll bring you in closer on how we're going to do it. It's also a nice way to reminder as you're going through to kind of do this. So I'll bring you over close, we'll take a look, and I'll explain every step. We'll get the forge lit and get it warming. Okay, be right back. Okay, we'll start here with step one. I've got a 20 layer billet already welded up, cleaned up, ready for forge welding. And they're just oppositely stacked, 15 and 20 and 1095. So we forge weld that, make it a solid billet, and then we take it over to my squaring dies, and we come in at the corners and pinch down like this, and that'll give us our crushed W's. The crushed W's is for the feather edges, so they're not just straight in. They got a nice little wave to them. Forge weld that, draw it out. Well, first we're going to draw this one out and cut it up and get, like I said, we started at 20 layers and we're going to go up to 150, 200 layers. So that's going to be done 3 or 4 times. And then we move on to the squaring dies and bring those in. Make the crushed W's. And then once that's all set and ready to go, then we cut it up again. And this time we cut it into like 4 or 5 individual little pieces and stack them on top of each other and forge weld down and up on the press to forge weld this way. Once that's done, clean it all up again, and then you have over here is you cut down through the center of this billet, and that's what gives you the drag, the feathers. So all that 15 and 20 and 1095 are all going in like this. Then you've got 2 halves. So you have to clean up the edges, forge weld them back together, and that's when you have your final billet. That is your actual feather pattern that you'll have in the billet. Now these are 6 steps simplified, but there's a lot of hours that go into doing feather Damascus. So I'm going to just do a speed run through them. As I do each one, we'll record real quick. Like forge weld number 1, forge weld number 2, forge weld number 3, the splitting, so on and so forth, until we get down to our billet, and then we'll get into our knife shape and everything else. This is going to be a few days, so I'll bounce back and forth. I mean, just the forge welding alone is probably going to take a couple days, getting it to at least this step the next 2 to 3 days. So when somebody asks, why is Damascus so expensive? It's a lot of time, a lot of material, and there's so many steps that anything can go wrong at any point, and you're trashing the whole billet. I mean, you might be able to make something out of it, you know, like trash Damascus or something that, you know, you could sell. But, you know, if you're doing feather, it's one of the trickiest ones because there's so many forge welds. So we'll get the new forge lit, get her up temp, and we'll go from there. Okay, be right back, guys. Okay, the forge is up. Our 20 layer billet, all clean, prepped, ready to go. Secret to Damascus is let the forge come up to temp and leave your steel right in there. Let this heat right up till it's matching the color of the forge. I'm running at, I think my forge right now is at 7 psi, 8 psi of propane. So she's going to heat up real fast. You can see the dragon's breath coming out of it. But let this soak. Once it's up to temperature, let it soak for about 10-15 minutes so it all is all good and hot. So we'll get her in, get her heat. Now one of the things that I'll do in probably 5-6 minutes once it's, you know, like a dull orange, is I'll take it out and just do a light press to kind of hold everything together, make sure it's all good and everything, all the steel's touching each other inside that billet. And then borax it and bring it up to temp. So, okay, we'll be back. Alright, this first press is to just flatten them out, so we'll go ahead and do that right here on the hydraulic press. You can see she's not up to forge welding temps yet. This is just to flatten everything, make sure she's good to go. All we want to do, we just want to flatten it. We'll go ahead and we'll put some borax on it. Borax works as a flux, cleans material, keeps oxygen from getting inside the billet. Oxygen at this point is not your friend. Borax is very bad on your forge, so I have a sacrificial brick in there that I don't care about. Powdered sugar container, works great. Okay, now we're going to bring up the temp for our first forge weld. We'll let that bake, like I said, 10-15 minutes even after she's up to temperature. So we'll do that, we'll come back with our first forge weld, and yeah. We'll be doing that. Okay, we'll be back, guys. Okay, we're about ready to do our first initial forge weld. Now, I've been sitting there good 10-15 minutes, letting her bake. You know, we're in no rush. We want to make sure our forge welds are perfect. We don't want any inclusions or anything like that in the billet or in the process that we have to try to fix. Yeah, so here we go. We're just going to do one quick pass, brush it, get it right back in the fire. I use what they call a hoof brush. It's a very hard, stiffle brush. It'll take off the slag and everything else and the impurities that come out of the steel as it cooks. Get it good and clean, borax it in, get it back in the forge. These are quick ones. I'll do this probably 3 times to set the forge welds, make sure we're good to go. Then draw it out a little bit, make our rhombus, our crushed W's, then under the power hammer. We're probably not going to use the press too much once these forge welds are all set. And you can get these at Ken's Custom Iron. I had a hard time finding them. Not bad. I'm not a sponsor. Just good people, good products, good price. So, alright, here we go. First one. Get the gloves, because that baby's screaming. You can see the dragon's breath coming out of the forge. She's that hot. See the smoke coming off it? That's how you know. Quick passes, brush it, flux it, get it back in the forge. So far, everything's looking good. said, we'll probably do this 3 times. Hot. Probably do this 3 times, and then draw it out a little bit. I'll do that under the power hammer. I do it under the power hammer because I don't want to distort the pattern as we go. Because once you have those crushed W's in, you want to leave them. You know, you don't want wiggly wobblies. You want those nice crushed W's on the edges. So I use the power hammer as we go. I'm only using this to set forge welds. You could draw it out a little bit under the dies, but you know, I have a power hammer, and that's much more fun. So, all right, we'll let it heat back up. Go back to it. Getting ready for press number 2. Now this time I'll bring you down to the anvil so you can see me brush it and borax it. So you can see how that process works. You see how I did the press. Now let's see the rest. Okay, here we go. I think the welds are set. We're going to do it one more time. I like to do 3. So far, so good. Everything's looking good. Back into the fire. When setting forge welds, you want to work fast. Okay. So I'll do one more, and then I'll probably bring the forge down in temp. We don't need to be forge welding. We want to keep it hot, but not forge welding temps. We're not forge welding anymore. We're going to basically be drying out the steel and getting it ready to go. But I want to grind out all those welds that I made to hold the billet together before I do any of that. So none of that gets into the billet. You know, you don't want mild steel blobs inside your steel because we are forge welding. That includes also forge welding those welds. So we'll be back after we are ready for drawing out into some length and then doing some W's, crushed W's. Okay, till then guys. Okay, the forge welding is done. We're drawing it out. We'll bring it down here and you can take a look at it. It's on the anvil. It's just over 15 inches. That lets me cut off some stuff, you know, the ends to clean it up. Probably cut it up into 4 sections. And when we're all said and done, we should have exactly 200 layers. And I think 200 layers is going to be fine. I want a little bit of a bold pattern in my feather. I don't want it all just tiny little lines. So I think 200 layers is going to be just fine. So, okay, we're going to let this cool down, cut, restack, and forge weld again. Then we draw it out, square it up, make the W's, draw it out some more, then cut it again, forge weld it again, and so on and so forth. So we've probably got 4 to 5 more forge welding sessions to go. And yeah, we'll keep on going. We'll bring you back when we get ready to do the next forge weld. So, okay, we'll be back guys. Okay, we're back for forge session number 2. I've got 6 layers of steel. 5 of them are 20 layers a piece. So, you know, doing the math, it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, or 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 on those 5. And then the other one has, it's just a chunk of leftover Damascus I had. I wanted to add more to the billet because it seemed like it was a little small. So I think that one was a 200 count. So, you we're looking at technically 300 layers, but not really. We'll let her come up, we'll borax it, and then just like again, gently make everything all nice and flat. Bring it up to critical temperature, or bring it up to forge welding temperatures. Give it a good squish, nice easy presses as we go, and yeah, then we'll do that 3 times again. You know, the forge welding itself. Then we'll start drawing it out, getting it ready for the crushed W's. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, we're getting ready for the first light press. Like I said, just to bring all the steel pieces together, make them stick good. Then we'll do forge welding temps. So here we go. Right back in the forge. Borax. Back in the forge. Now we wait for it to come up the forge welding temps, press it, and we'll do that 3 times. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, forge weld number 1. So we'll do this 3 times. I won't film the other 2 because it's the same process, but we'll get this one done and you can see it and we'll move on. Clean it, borax, get it back in. Okay, we're gonna end it there for the day. I've got quite a few hours just in getting the billet this far. I cleaned it up after the forge weld. I don't see any inclusions. Everything looks like it took really well. We are at quite a few layers right now. So we're gonna draw this out a little bit. And then we'll start, I think, like I said, I'm still thinking about maybe cutting it one more time, getting that layer count up, and getting that extra thick or extra layered here right in the center. So that would look nice, I think. So, you know, if we cut it, you know, draw it out, cut it, fold it back on itself this way, forge weld one more time, draw it out, put in our crushed W's then, draw it out some more, make sure we're good to go, and then stack, forge weld down, and then run the axe through it to create the feather pattern down through the center. So right now, all of the lines, all the Damascus is running this way. So when we get ready to do the feather, we want them all going up and down, so that way when we run the axe through it, you know, it'll pull all those crushed W's in like this. So I'll bring it in a little bit closer and you can see the layer count. And then we'll, you know, cut her there for the night. And we'll be back tomorrow with some more. So, all right, hang on, let me get in close and you guys can see the layer count. I like to do etchings in between, you know, forge welds once they're together, so I can kind of manipulate the pattern as I go if I need to. If the light catches it just right, you can see the layer counts. So I think we're at 100 from here. No, from here to there, and then an extra 100 here at the edge. As I said, I want to try to forge weld it one more time, flip it, and get that extra layer count in the middle. So when we draw the axe thumb through it, it'll be nice and crisp. So, okay. Till next time, like, follow, subscribe, and yeah, we'll catch you later, guys.